Hey guys, they spawned us right back in a room with a bunch of seekers, so it's an interesting way to start the level. So this next series of sections were actually the E3 demo for 2004. It's a set of 3 levels that ended with the boss of this area, and yes, we'll be facing a boss in video 18. I believe it was cut down a little bit, but I wasn't at E3 that year, so whatever. I had to cut here because this dropship gave me a lot of trouble and I died to it. Because I don't really have the weapons right here to take this thing down. The energy ball alt fire for the Acolyte is very frustrating. It's like it's not as powerful as the Haze's alt grenade, it's sticky grenades, and I don't know, it seems to do more knockdown damage than actual, painful damage. Almost died here too, again, which would have been a pain. You'll hear a lot of clipping in the audio for the sound effects and whatnot. That's actually the game again. I would not tolerate clipping if I had had control over it. Dropships are kind of frustrating to flick target because they go outside your range rather quickly. I mean, the distance at which they're pretty close but still in your sort of danger zone and doing damage to you and firing rockets and everything. So it's like, that's why I didn't flick target here, because I can't. It's just slightly out of my range, hanging off the cliff like that. And he ducks and weaves just enough so that I can't surge his rockets back to him. That's why I died to this guy originally, because it just takes forever to take him down. And the thing is, I would use Shatter a bit to actually take it down, but you really need to deflect the rockets if you want to avoid damage. Oh gosh, finally. Alright, so there's a forked path in this area. It's largely unimportant because basically all it does is take you underneath this bridge section, and then you're supposed to charge jump up to it. I guess it's supposed to be sort of sneaky, but this game doesn't really have a fully realized stealth element. So if you guys want to see these miscellaneous paths and whatnot, I can make a video of that. It's just they're fairly unremarkable in the end. This Seeker Shock troop up here was kind of spazzing out. For some reason it didn't seem to be able to turn around. You'll see it a little clearer. Kind of hard to see on the video, but it's just sort of, I don't know, swiveling its upper body around and not moving its legs. It's one of the few times I've ever seen that. Alright, so this next section will have another Xbox exclusive cutscenes, and both the cutscenes I'll play during this update are Xbox exclusive. So Chapter 6 is really affected by the changes they made to the PC version. It's sort of like the Chapter 2 of the latter half of the game. So Gideon was doing a kind of early version of the wall lean there. That's a move that not many people know is still in the game. You run up to a wall and hit C, Gideon will start clinging to the wall. Sort of like a cover system that nobody ever knew this game had, it seems like. It doesn't really help that much, and it's not all that realized, but it's another feature nobody knows about. There's actually a hint that the game pops up with, or, it has in its files a hint that has no trigger to pop up telling you how to wall lean. I've been actually cutting out all the hint messages the game gives you because, I don't know, I'm not explaining everything, so this rock falls down our path, so we have to go the long way. Something kind of cool is that the trees catch fire if you blast them here. I totally forgot while I was recording this, so we don't get to see that, unfortunately. But it's just, you know, the standard flame animation on top of the half-made trees. It's kind of easy to forget to flick target enemies while you're in the Seeker tank, because none of the other vehicles in the game have flick targeting in them. In fact, the only other vehicle that you normally would play as that has a weapon is actually the Scythe, and that's the Scythe turret, so you have to climb into that to even be able to fire at something. There are the other turrets, human turrets and whatnot. The more rocks fall behind us, and Seekers will spawn out of this, and they'll keep coming for a little while. It's not all that important, because we can take them all down in just a couple shots. What's kind of annoying is they stuck a Seeker tank right in this room here, and at this point you're probably very low on health, so this has killed me numerous times. I think it killed me in recording for this one, in fact. Anyways, let's get on to the next section. Oh, the door is closed behind us, so let's continue on. Honestly, I've always found this section to be a bit dull. There's some interesting effects they have in here, like large, because I think part of the E3 demo, so they really wanted to show it off a bit. But it's almost all indoors. We come to a section later on that I think is really cool, but this first part just is not that interesting to me. That's a pretty cool effect. I don't know what causes that exactly. There's just an explosion for some reason. I think it's supposed to be like a Seeker dropping a grenade or something, but they have no actual animation for any Seeker throwing a grenade or anything like that, so I don't know. Well, in this area. Something kind of cool is this section, like the Chapter 1 whatnot, has a lot of destructible environments. There's a little kind of air. Just have this piece floating in midair like that. I decided to do this with every single pillar here for some reason. But it's actually pretty interesting, all the destructible stuff they have here. I'd say this chapter has a lot of effort put into it. But this right here, it's called the Elevator of Death, because on the Xbox version, you would hit that button and the elevator would not go down and your game would stop here. At least I think that's how it is. I don't think it ever happened to me when I played on the Xbox. Maybe once, but it just requires reloading and trying again. The idea here is take out the normal Seeker infantry before you deal with the elite. The elite is kind of a pain. If I had a higher level surge, this wouldn't be as slow, because one fully charged surge would kill this guy instantly. But yeah, this section has always struck me as relatively uninteresting. It's kind of cool, like in this next area, there's lots of boxes and cargo containers and whatnot, sort of implying that the Seekers were totally unprepared for this attack and everything. But I don't know, this section is just always kind of iffy for me. I mean, it doesn't have any visually striking, you know, level decisions. At least Chapter 5 had some really nice levels with very interesting set pieces. But this is sort of, I don't know, kind of boring, I guess. We'll come up to another area very shortly. That's pretty cool, though. Some more elevator action. You want to be careful with elevators in this game because sometimes they'll crush you, sometimes you'll pass through them. If you go underneath them, they will probably crush you. So the best method is to just wait until they come down. Also, kind of, for these sliding doors, it's kind of interesting. Bullet holes will stay floating in air if an enemy shot at you and door closed, for example. Let's see, just a second. Yep. I mean, actually correcting an error like that and setting up the game so it would remove those kind of bullet holes from this, that would probably take way more work than it was worth. Anyways, welcome to the Volcano Core. Do you recognize that ship from video 16? We'll go and inspect that in just a little bit. So this Seeker, I really like this level. It's a really massive level. This Seeker actually activates its bridge for us. You want to kind of hurry across though, because the bridge will retract if you're not fast enough. You can just activate it afterwards, but still. Now, 2 elevators come down with Seeker Elites and Shock Troops, so you can actually kind of hurry through this section if you want. But as I said, this is probably the last time we're really going to see some heavy gameplay. So I decided, might as well fight these guys a bit. And plus, it is a pretty good environment. You don't get to see lava that much until this chapter, so... The Seeker Elites kind of bugged out for me on this elevator a bit. I don't really know why. You'll see it a little bit. They sort of stop attacking at all and just sort of watch me move around. It's unusual because the Seeker Elites are usually extremely aggressive, way more than normal Seekers. Some Seekers will usually just leave you alone if you go away for long, but this guy seemed to just not want to do anything. Probably the best strategy in this area is to just let them jump at you and try to lead them off of the cliff, or punch them off the cliff, surge them off the cliff, something like that. Something I want to talk about is a cut enemy that was showed in screenshots from this section, Robo Sapien. It was sort of this amorphous humanoid shaped thing, sort of reminiscent of the Seekers a little bit, but without 4 legs. They never really showed anything about them besides having one wallpaper that showed it in Chapter 4 as well, in the room where you first face a Seeker Elite. I'll cover them in more detail later, that's for sure. Alright, so we'll take a look inside this ship very briefly. Now this ship belongs to a bounty hunter. Now you can probably guess where that's going, but we'll see the actual bounty hunter next update. Next update will be a big one too. Alright, so lots of stasis tubes in his ship, and a little sort of spinal column thing at the back. So we'll see more of that, that's for sure. These rocks crumble as soon as we reach this area or defeat enough enemies. And we're almost to Marin. We need to get to the cell block to reach her. She's being held by the Seekers in their detention area. Alright, and across this bridge is where we'll end the update. It's actually a little tricky here because the Seekers spawn endlessly out of that doorway there. So jumping over can actually put you in kind of a bad situation. A lot of fun to kick them into the lava though. But I end up putting Sphere on just to make sure I don't get overwhelmed here. But anyways, that's going to be the end of this update. Tune in next time when a lot of exciting stuff happens. See you then.